Welcome to ESPN College Football presented by McDonald's. Thursday night from South Carolina's capital city, home of the HBCU Division II national champions. The Benedict Tigers are the two-time defending SIAC champs, and they open conference play tonight against the Tigers of Edward Waters from Jacksonville, Florida. As we say hello and welcome you in with the former Howard University and NFL quarterback Jay Walker, I'm Tiffany Green. That aforementioned success for the Benedict Tigers, nobody has been more dominant in the SIAC the last 2 years. They haven't lost a conference game, but that was under Chinnis Berry, who's now at South Carolina State. Tonight, it's the Ron Dickerson Jr. show and his debut on national TV.
You know, as we look around college football, too, the number one word we see is change. Change is inevitable in college football today, whether it's the portal, whether it's coaches leaving. I don't think you've seen more change in the HBCU than what they're experiencing right now here in Columbia, South Carolina at Benedict. This is a program that had a lot of pride. It was built, they lost a coaching legend. But now you have to get over it now in today's college football world. Ron Dickerson is a new coach. The Ron Dickerson era has begun this year. It's got off to a slow start. He's looking to get his first victory as the head coach of Benedict here tonight on national television.
And with a coaching change comes some turnover for the Tigers. It was nearly leaving the cupboard bare. However, the HBCU preseason All-American Aaron Miller decided to stay.
It really speaks to the character of Aaron Miller, where he could have gone into the portal and left and gone to a number of schools. He's a defensive end with a tremendous motor, one of the best players in all of HBCU football. He's going to have a special night tonight if they want to get the victory.
Let's stick on the defensive side of the ball for Edward Waters as well, and their linebacker, who is really the heart and soul of that unit, Widmeyer Garcon.
And Garcon really has to step up, because when these two teams met a season ago, it was a blowout. Benedict put a lot of points on them. The first thing that Edward Waters has to do is solve the riddle. If they can stop them defensively, to give them a chance to come in here and pull off an upset victory.
Among the wins that Toriano Morgan has talked about wanting throughout his coaching tenure is trying to topple the giant that is Benedict College. They started out the season with a win against Morehouse in his fourth season, leading the way for the Tigers out of Jacksonville. And that's Brian Jenkins Jr., the OC, who also provides a lot of knowledge within the HBCU space and having success at previous stops. Well, Edward Waters wins the toss and will defer. Benedict will receive the ball first.
And one of the things you can say about Coach Morgan, at Edward Waters, the program is definitely trending in the right direction. This is a program that hasn't been around too long, but they're steadily making improvements.
In the purple and gold and getting off to a hot start right out the gate. That's Jackson Williams, and Jackson Williams nearly taking it to the house. The touchdown saving tackle made by Edward Waters to slow it down. But how about that to get out the gate?
Making the job more difficult. Special teams making an impact here. You're talking about a program that has not won a game, and this is just a great return. All you'd like to see is a better block by number 2. You're tracking him down. That's Xavier Foster. Go wipe him out. Don't wait. Good job by the kicker getting in the way and saving a touchdown. Missed opportunity to score from Benedict, though.
81-yard kickoff return for the freshman, the true freshman out of Dothan, Alabama, Jackson Williams. So it's excellent field position to start things off for the Tigers. Charles Trey Simmons is the signal caller for this group, the junior out of Tampa, Florida. Joining him in the backfield, number 24 in purple, that's Jalen Leary. First play from scrimmage, and the pass into the end zone is caught by Troy Hillman. Well, quick work right there. The 16-yard connection from Simmons to Hillman. Well, you couldn't have scripted it any better for Ron Dickerson Jr. to start this ball game. A wonderful return set up by Jackson Williams and then finished off by this touchdown throw and catch.
Yeah, watch the adjustment by Hillman. This ball's over that back outside shoulder where only he can make the catch. Willie Mays style, fantastic play for Benedict.
The extra point is good from Lucas Wynn, and it didn't take long for the Benedict Tigers to get on the board. They're happy to be home, and it shows. Troy Hillman with his 3rd touchdown of the season. Flex on them, Tigers.
At Pop Football is presented by McDonald's and in part by Cologuard.
The fast start for Benedict has a 7-0 advantage. Not much time ticked off the clock there, Jay. Just 16 seconds to complete things. And now it will be Edward Waters' opportunity as Keith Moore, the second, getting ready on the sideline. The junior out of Miami, Florida, making his 2nd career start tonight. He will await to get the ball after the kickoff. But this is a group who has seen success with this quarterback, especially in week 1 with that opening win against Morehouse 28-11. They've dropped the last 2, but Keith Moore has done some good things throughout, and Toriano Morgan is hopeful that he will have his best game tonight.
Kind of what you ask for as a quarterback. You're in a position where you're on the road, you have an opportunity to solidify you're the starting quarterback, to remove doubt. I think at this point in his career, he needs to remove doubt that he's going to be the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. And well, the way you get that, you go out here, you win football games, you make good decisions, and that's one of his strengths, is his IQ. That'll be on display tonight.
Lucas Wynn, who's handling all the kicking duties, kicks it off in the direction of Brady Tillman. Tillman receives it, and Tillman, who's knocked quickly just inside the 20-yard line as the true freshman got a quick hello from one of the Tigers from Benedict College, number 35 in purple.
Ogden Brown Jr. laying some wood as a special teams from Benedict. They're coming out here ready to play. They got a kickoff return already. Look at the purple jerseys just swarming to the ball.
The Tigers from Benedict pumped up. Meanwhile, for Edward Waters, they've got a veteran in the shotgun. That's Keith Moore Jr. Man in motion is Fatuma Polk, and they hand it off and loses the football. The ball carrier had it punched out, and it's picked up by Benedict. Number 26, Omari Terry, was able to recover it. So you talk about that quick start for Benedict on all phases of the game. We saw special teams started off, the quick touchdown, pass, and now turnover created by the defense.
Wow, what a terrible start for Edward Waters in this game here. And this just a hard hit, doing a good job of getting the helmet on the football to knock it out. And a great job by Terry to get the recovery.
And I believe that was 33, Markel Davis right there, who dislodged the football. Coaches have been really high on him coming into this season. This is a true freshman. Think about this, Jay. A number of true freshmen that are getting the opportunity.
Unnecessary roughness. Passing team, number 6. 15-yard penalty. First down, Benedict.
It's like they used to say, but wait, it gets worse. But wait, it gets worse. Right now for Edward Waters, it just gets worse. The turnover, now you had 15 yards on top of that.
Both teams had one play in their opening drive, but 2 contrasting outcomes or results. For Benedict, a touchdown. For Edward Waters, a fumble. Trey Simmons back at the helm. Started off his career at McNeese, then transferred over from Tusculum. Simmons looking, the dart in the middle of the field, and another touchdown. This time it's Malachi Jones. Well, Jones, they love this speedster out of Gainesville, and it didn't take long once more for this Benedict crew to get into the end zone.
Did Edward Waters know they're going to play football tonight at 8 o'clock on TV there? I mean, that's too open. Benedict making it look easy. It's right now. Trey Simmons making the right decisions with the football. Quarterback's dream. 2 for 2 with 2 touchdowns.
16 seconds for the first touchdown drive, 18 seconds for the second one. And Lucas Wynn again is true on the point after attempt. Folks, if you're just tuning in, we've only played 42 seconds, and it's a 14-0 advantage in favor of Benedict College, the two-time defending SIAC champions, showing like they are that thing.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5. That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's.
Life doesn't stop for a cold.
Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste. DayQuil Honey. The honeylicious daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, power through your day medicine.
Where are you headed?
Where am I headed? Am I just gonna take what the market gives me? No, I can do some research.
You know, that's backed by JP Morgan's leading strategists, like us.
When you want to invest with more confidence, the answer is JP Morgan Wealth Management.
At Papa John's, get an extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $10.99. It's a mouth-watering, stretched thinner, made bigger, more for your money, extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $10.99. Better get you some Papa John's.
The journey to the top starts here.
Ballers go hard all day. Winners don't cry, they play. Start the game.
I got all the eyes on me. Center stage is all I
You going up? How high you willing to go?
Double dribble switch with my hands on the ball. Even when I'm down, I'ma still stand tall.
It's time to rock and roll.
She's something special, I know.
The WNBA playoffs, Sunday on ESPN and ABC.
Welcome back to South Kakalaki. Let's take a look at our impact players, brought to you by the Home Depot.
Talk about Benedict right now. The whole team has been the impact, particularly special teams. But Johnny Jones, the leadership at wide receiver, the ability to make people hurt you downfield. Brady Tillman, the running back, when they have a ground game, he's the guy that gets you going. And that's just basically to say, you talk about Benedict, Patterson, everything's rolling right now. And Jalen Leary, we haven't seen him as well. But we'll see if we call these guys numbers as the game goes on.
Well, you mentioned in the open, Jay, about this Benedict team hungry for a win. They've come up short in their first 2 games, so the opportunity to grab a win tonight against a team that they have had success against throughout their previous meetings. And this one off the leg of Lucas Wynn goes into the end zone, so a touchback. Just a reminder to our viewers, the play clock is not operable on the field tonight, and so the time will be kept on the field. Second time around for Edward Waters. They'll start their drive from their own 25-yard line, and if you are Toriano Morgan, you told your offensive unit what?
It's not panic time. We're down by 2 scores. We've only run 1 play. Protect the football, and let's stick to our game plan right now. Let's see if all the things we worked on this week in practice to get ready for this game, if they still in the play.
So new running back in the backfield, the handoff to Gregory Mango. Mango is one of a handful of backs for the Tigers. We will see a number kind of cycle through. Brady Tillman got that first carry. This from Greg Mango on the second possession. The sophomore out of Daytona Beach, Florida. A returner for Edward Waters, back from a shoulder injury from last year. 2nd and 8. It's Johnny Jones in motion, a player we mentioned as an impact player, instead going to the left side, near side, and that's Mekhi Levette. And Levette is a player who we heard from in the pregame after that 10-yard pickup for a first down from Coach Morgan, that, hey, we need him to have a big game.
Yeah, big-time player, has a lot of experience. transferred in from South Dakota State, reigning FCS national champions, and he could be an impact player for him. And you notice one thing about Edward Waters, you're going to see a lot of shifting. And that's their offensive coordinator, Brian Jenkins, by design, likes to get the edge, likes to show the quarterback what to do. It really has to hone in and trust your eyes.
Well, penalty marker comes flying out after the ball is snapped. John Terry Thomas was on the carry. Our head referee for tonight, Drew Ford. We'll hear from him.
Illegal formation, offense, more than 4 in the backfield. Remains first down.
We talk about that shifting, Jay, and they're just out of sync in alignment there. And that'll back up Edward Waters 5 yards.
And they got caught. I mean, they got away with it early. I thought I saw 2 people moving at the same time earlier. You'll see this. Here goes another shift. I haven't seen that where they shift and had 2 people leave the game for a substitution. So the official comes in. You have to allow the defense to reset. That is taking the shifting to another level.
And nearly a bad exchange held on to by Moore. And Moore not much room to run as he was tripped up and brought down by Bobby Anderson. No gain on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 15.
They continue to, I'm waiting to see, is Edward Waters ready to match the physical nature of Benedict? You know, in previous years when we've seen these 2 teams play, it seems like Benedict emerges as the stronger, better, more physical team. And I know that's something that Coach Morgan really wanted to address in this football game here. Right now, they have not been able to match up to him.
Play action and a wide open man. That's Johnny Jones. And Jones, the All-American, returns, gets the catch. And maybe about 3 yards short of the first down marker. So it's going to bring up 3rd and short.
And this is one here where when your offense is in sync, this is an easy throw and catch. Give it to him where he can make the catch and turn upfield and pick up that first down. Now you give the defense an opportunity to still make a stop because he's 3 yards short.
The line to gain, the 46-yard line of Edward Waters. You see the 3rd down conversions this season thus far for the group out of Jacksonville. Jones in motion. The throw right in the middle of the field, and that's Lovett again. Lovett, they said he was going to be a difference maker. He's staying on his feet. He's popping up for tackles, and he's into the end zone. What a run after catch from Mekhi Lovett. Penalty marker down. Around the 10-yard line was just picked up. We'll await the call here. So Mekhi Lovett, the junior out of Miami, Florida.
The foul for blindside block. Result of the play is a first down.
Also plays a touchdown. And, you know, that's something I thought that there was a little bit unnecessary wipeout block that came in, but it was a block that needed to be made towards the end of that run after catch. And you see the coach right there just saying, just put your hands up, just get in the way, because he got lucky. In that case there, I'm going to tell you, and Jones is a leader, but he was fortunate they could have taken that touchdown off the board because of that hit.
Longest pass play of the season. The touchdown, and now the extra point attempt from Cooper Baddix. It's up and through. So what a response and an answer from Edward Waters. 56-yard touchdown catch, but it was really the run after the catch, Jay, that was so impressive.
Great job. And, you know, we saw Malachi before the game, and he's put together like a running back. So when he catches the ball, he's thinking, oh, I'm the runner, I'm the runner. He's looking for daylight, makes guys miss, bounce off of him, and that was the one that could have been considered a blindside tackle, block. But a good job here just running a slant route. And look at the aggressive nature here. He's thinking, oh, I'm not going down easy. He gets into the secondary. avoids contact, picks up a block. Nice play design and nice execution. A play that Edward Waters needed desperately to get back in this game.
Yeah, that was on the 3rd and 3, Jay. He got 3 yards and a whole lot more. And now cutting the lead in half for Edward Waters. And it's worth mentioning, Jay, you see that 5 plays, 75 yards. The domination that we saw from Benedict last year limited Edward Waters to just 69 total yards of offense in this game. So a drastic shift in turnaround from last year to this year.
And also, we talked about earlier, Keith Moore trying to establish it. He's a guy that can put some points on the board for Edward Waters, so that would go a long way for his confidence as well.
Well, good time to let you know that here's our Saturday ABC College Football triple header, number 21. Clemson hosts NC State at noon Eastern, followed by 16th ranked LSU hosting UCLA in Baton Rouge. And then number 6, Tennessee taking on 15th ranked Oklahoma in the Sooners' first SEC game. Each game available also on ESPN Plus. Find live sports where you watch, only on ESPN app and ESPN.com, the ultimate viewing guide to live sports. ACC home opener for Clemson, about 3-hour drive west on I-26. You check out here in the capital city, and Benedict College, who has had success so far tonight and through the SIAC, and that's Trey Simmons who gets loose. And a penalty marker is out near the 23-yard line. We'll get the call as he was brought down by D'Angelo Sapp.
Edward Waters bringing pressure with double A gap blitz with the linebackers coming, unable to make the tackle in the backfield. Simmons thought he was going to get away. Kind of let you know they plan on coming after him this game if you're doing that type of blitz this early in the game.
During the run, holding, offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty from the spell of the foul. First down.
And it's going against the left tackle, Jai Brown. Well, this is the first drive that we've seen that is going to take more than one play to score. The first 2 were quick hitters on that first drive, that 16-yard touchdown catch by Hillman. And then the last possession, Johnny Jones hauled it in for a score. Lofted up to the outside and a great catch, but out of bounds from Malachi Jones. Let's see. Ooh. They're going to call, the side judge is going to say he was out of bounds, but
yeah, that'll stand, but I thought he did a good job of maybe it's college football. You only need one foot, one toe. A good job of adjusting to the ball. And knee goes out of bounds first, so that's why. So the officials got it right, but it was close. But look at the ball skills on display by freshman Malachi Jones.
First incompletion of the night for either team. Now 2nd and 20. Simmons standing on his own up 9.5-yard line. Simmons going to left side again. Sees something in the interception there by D'Angelo Sapp, but you saw the flag fly out in the process. And then after the fact, some more laundry comes out along that Benedict sideline.
There was a pass interference called. Did they call it on D'Angelo Sapp, number 3 there, or was it offensive pass interference?
The officials conferring. Drew Ford trying to make sure he gets the right information. Here's the call.
There are 2 fouls by the defense. Pass interference. Defense, number 3. After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 2. Both penalties will be enforced.
So both of those penalties going against Edward Waters' secondary. D'Angelo Sapp called for the pass interference, then came up with the interception, and then after the play, Travis McNichols.
That's a little tight. That's a little tight right there. So they call the pass interference.
And it really should have been on McNichols.
On McNichols and not Sapp. Sapp did a good job making the interception. You know, you've got a receiver in Malachi Jones that's been pushing defensive backs around a little bit, making great catches. They try to touch him back and get flagged and takes the interception away. Tough break.
So it sets up 1st and 10, the pressure. Simmons avoids it for the time being, gets the ball away and avoids the sack. That was Tyler Fan, who was the disruptive force for Edward Waters.
This is this opportunity. I mean, they're dialing up great blitzes. They're getting there, but they just can't get them down. The athleticism of Simmons on display in the last minute, just able to get rid of that football.
Well, the defensive coordinator, Mike Panunga, bringing some pressure early on. Tyler Fan, right where Edward Waters is located in Jacksonville, Florida, helps to force a 2nd and 10 here. Damian Moat Jr. in the backfield alongside Simmons to the right. Pass out, it's complete. Xavion Foster is the recipient. There's D coordinator Mike Fanunga. His experience, Baz, he's had some within the HBCU space at Morgan State, but came from Hal Mumme, as that quick play from Moat Jr. is going to leave him short on that 3rd and 4 run. Played for Hal Mumme and then followed him around and had success at Valdosta State, Kentucky as well.
Defense makes the stop, forcing a punt on 4th down. Coach Nunga has to be proud of the job they did to stop the bleeding a little bit on defense, and this football team a chance to get back into it.
Well, the sophomore Lucas Wynn out of Powder Springs, Georgia, the Atlanta metro area, has been busy thus far tonight. He'll punt it away. Johnny Jones is standing at his own 5-yard line. A line drive punt. A favorable bounce for Benedict as they try to down it inside the 5. Able to do so. In the process, though, back around midfield, there's a flag out.
The ball down at the Edward Waters 2-yard line.
Illegal formation. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
Wow. That will wipe out a fantastic punt. You have your team opponent pinned to their own 2-yard line because of a mental error. I call those mental errors illegal formations, not knowing where to line up. You take it off, and now you've got to hope that your punter can deliver again for you.
I mean, that was down to the 2-yard line of Edward Waters, Jay, and now Ron Dickerson Jr. is hoping for a repeat.
Lucas Wynn in punt formation for Benedict, Johnny Jones, deep for Edward Waters.
So we'll try it again here. This one, a more sky kick from Wynn. Still a favorable bounce going inside the 10. Wow. Inside.
He did it again. He got better. He gained a yard.
Impressive footwork there and leg. However, another flag out this time at the 35-yard line. So this first quarter thus far has been littered with flags on both sides. We'll find out who it's against.
During the kick. Hold it. Receiving team. Number 25. 24. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
They downed it on the one. They're going to take half a distance, so they're going to have the ball. When we come back, they're going to have it with about 18 inches of spare from the end zone. Oh, boy. Come on back, y'all.
Stay tuned to get a free pair of designer.
Yes, level. Let's educate you on Edward Waters University, founded in 1866 by Edward Waters, who was a bishop in the AME Church. Dr. A. Zachary Faison Jr. is the current president, with an enrollment of better than 1,200 students in Jacksonville, Florida. And Jay, they had the distinction of becoming a university in 2021. Deep into their own territory, and Greg Mango was trying to escape out of the end zone. Let's see where they mark it.
That's safety, yeah.
Demetrius Patterson is credited along with Israel Nwokocha.
Those extra 18 inches they got
You said it, Jay.
got them the 2 points. The penalty.
The play, the safety.
Way to take advantage of the penalty there. They got to snap the ball a little bit deeper in the end zone, and you can tell right there the contact was down. He was trying to get that ball just to cross out of the end zone with the elbows down. Good job of holding the line of scrimmage and a great individual play.
Israel Nwokocha, who is certainly a good pass rusher, but he's a guy who the coaches talked about, hey, he's coming off a strong performance, and we needed more of that. And so Toriano Morgan's crew is up, or down rather, 16-7.
Accidents happen everywhere and every day. Sweep it up the easy way.
Instead, they go the wrong way. But if you're Ron Dickerson right now, you want to see what's your football team made of. You got a team that's down. They're not in sync. Are we mentally tough enough to say, you know what, let's increase this lead and keep our foot on the gas?
8:19 to go in the first quarter here from Columbia. From the 46-yard line, Trey Simmons looking, surveying, steps up in the pocket, delivers a pass on target to Tyreek Carter.
They're really confusing Trey Simmons. Although it was a completed pass, his athleticism is saving him. His pre-snap read, he wanted to go to the quick slant route on the bottom of the screen, but instead had to pull it, buy some time, and was still able to find a receiver and distribute the football.
You talk about finding the open receiver last week. Distributed to 11 different receivers. The numbers bumped up considerably as well through the air, and that's one of the areas where they wanted to see him continue to make strides. Handles the bad snap, the high snap with one hand. Simmons keeping his eyes down the field, has an open man, and Zach Gibson the target, but the throw was out of bounds. Going to bring up second down.
And another one of those instances where they confuse him and no rhythm to the timing. The blitz is coming, and he's, instead of realizing the blitz is going to be picked up on that side and keeping your eyes downfield, he peeked at the blitz, moved around in the pocket, and threw an inaccurate throw. Although Simmons has shown the arm and he's got a good group of wide receivers that continue to get behind these defenders, I'm not necessarily sold that he's seeing what this defense is doing to him.
Israel Rhodes joining him in the backfield. His first carry of the ball game. Nice little spurt. And coming up that left side, and Israel Rhodes, the sophomore here from the state of South Carolina, and Greer picks up 15 yards.
And look at the hole. I mean, look at this. That is too big a hole in college football to run. Untouched, 10 yards up the field, and then he finished off the run. A little a la Walter Payton, lowering the shoulder a little bit, trying to take it to the defensive back.
Rhodes remains in the ball game. Once more, they hand it off, looking for blockers. Scats outside, loses a piece of equipment along with his helmet across the 20 or just at the 20-yard line, and a tough run for 7.
He lost his helmet, but he made somebody, Forever Waters, lose something else. Lose their footing. He shook him. Look at this. You know he's got to bounce it. On the bounce. Look at him set him up. Rip. Get by him right there. Good piece of running by Rhodes.
Rhodes has to go off the field after losing a helmet for a play. Just a reminder to our viewers, the play clock not working in-house here at Charles Johnson Stadium. On 2nd and 3, across the middle, and a drop right into the hands of Zach Gibson, who could have walked into the end zone. Instead, it's going to bring up 3rd and short. Gibson is one of those big targets, that wide receiver core.
And I mentioned, I don't know if he was seeing the defense well, but he knew exactly what he was seeing from the defense on that play there. Dig route, perfectly thrown ball. As you mentioned, would have been an easy touchdown. Instead, just an incompletion.
Gibson was one of those players coming into this program who they were really excited about his potential. Now, 3rd and 3, empty backfield for Simmons. Feels the pressure, able to avoid it, still on his feet.
On the move, and the touchdown.
And the easy touchdown throw to Malachi Jones. So 2nd touchdown of the night for Jones from 20 yards out. Let me tell you, Charles Trey Simmons knows how to keep a play alive with his feet.
Yeah, I mean, they're bringing the pressure. They're getting to him. You've got 1-2 guys that can bring him down. And they look at the move to buy some more time, send somebody airborne, and still has vision enough to see that Malachi Jones has gotten behind the secondary again for another touchdown. That's just a great football play from Trey Simmons.
Outstanding individual effort rewarded with that touchdown to Jones. Lucas Wynn pushes the lead out even further.
You know, as a D coordinator, you say, hey, I dial up the right play, but then you don't execute. It all starts with tackling the quarterback, and if you're going to blitz a quarterback, you have to get him down. They have not been able to do that tonight.
And what did they say of Trey Simmons? The fact that the coaches said, we love that he can turn a negative into a positive, right?
Yeah, and we've seen he's becoming a better passer. He's a kid that had a lot of swag, and they say he humbled himself. But they know the scout reporting it. Edward Waters knew that too. He can run. But look at the night he's having throwing the ball tonight. Impressive start for Trey Simmons.
3 passing touchdowns for Trey Simmons. He had 3 total coming into tonight's game. So an outstanding start for the junior.
They got to keep it going though. You know, they answered the bell when it was like, okay, are you all tough enough to not settle for having the lead they had, and can you increase the lead? And that was a nice response by Benedict.
Penalty marker as this one goes out of bounds, so the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. Well, it's nice to see.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
I was going to say, Jay, it was also nice to see the fact that we've got bands in the stands tonight. The Benedict College Marching Tiger Band of Distinction, along with the triple threat. Meanwhile, big plays, if you're just tuning in, have headlined this first quarter thus far. We talked about the opening kickoff return for a touchdown by the Tigers of Benedict, and then Lovett answering back with a 56-yard impressive TD catch and run. But also, we have seen a lot of laundry out on the field tonight, and a flag on that last play.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 48. 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, after making that great play on the last series with that safety, Nwokocha whistled for the personal foul, so Edward Waters now in Benedict territory. You think about Edward Waters, their first 3 drives, a fumble, a touchdown, and a safety. How will this drive end up? Quick pass out, and quick to the spot there was Trey Caver. Caver with a loss of 2 on that tackle as Lovett brought it in, but Caver was there quickly.
And forgive me, partner, you lost me for about 30 seconds there because the band of distinction was playing that Kendrick Lamar. You know, I'm a West Coast guy. They did a good job with it. I was judging them a little bit rather than judging
yes,
the
they not like us. Kendrick will headline next year's Super Bowl. Yeah, that's been like the song for marching bands so far in the early going of this college football season. On the carry, John Terry is Thomas, and Thomas who's spun down and taken down by George Jala. But Thomas, a pickup of 18 yards on that run.
Look at the balance, and we're starting to see the Florida players show off what Florida's known for. Guys that can run with the football in their hands and keep their balance. And when you talk about Thomas, he was a guy that kind of surprised him this year. It's a surprise to the coaching staff. A utility back that could do everything. Earned some playing time, got on in the running back rotation, and you can see why. Just does all the little things right. You see him trying to make an impact here in this game.
Well, he's a guy who they love because he has the ability to keep the chains moving from that panhandle of Florida, from Gadsden County. Now 2nd and 4 from the Benedict 21-yard line. They give it to Thomas again, but nowhere to go. Big number 91, Marcellus Livingston, brings him down. Tackle for a loss of 2.
And the running backs are pretty good for Edward Waters, but the offensive line's got to get it done. You know, they're losing the battles at the line of scrimmage. And all hands on deck in the running game.
It's an area where Brian Jenkins Sr. talked about, hey, we're pretty thin up front, don't have a lot of guys that they can rotate in along that offensive line. Now 3rd and 6 for Edward Waters. You want to try to respond here on this drive and bring it within single digits.
Ball's away.
This one into the hands of Ravion Moore, and Moore is in for the score. Touchdown, Edward Waters. 22 yards in the celebration after. And Keith Moore II does his job. Then after that celebration, or maybe some extracurricular in the end zone, calls for the flag. We're going to have unsportsmanlike.
The result of the play, the touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike comment. Offense, number 0. That penalty we were forced on the kickoff.
So Ravion Moore got the score, but also picked up the 15-yard penalty, which will be assessed on the kickoff. Baddox had that one blocked, and you can't return
another
that
big
one.
play.
Trey Caver, or special teams, has been stepping up for Benedict. Nobody's going to catch him. He takes it to the house.
The point after it's blocked and right back.
I mean, the offensive line play for Edward Waters just hasn't really been there. I mean, you knew this was blocked right away. I mean, gets through and scoop and score.
Guess who it was again? Israel Nwokocha.
He's going to win his battle right there. I mean, they don't block him. I mean, that was easy. Schematically, what were they thinking about?
So put up 2 more points for the Benedict Tigers. Nwokocha, who has been standing out thus far, he has been an impact player in this game.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hair.
Been a wild game.
We're just in the first quarter, Tiffany.
We're just in the first quarter. 2 plays for Benedict College. Only took 1 play for the touchdown, so 1 + 1 = 2. And then we've seen a safety, a block, extra point return for 2 points. And 2:48 to go in quarter number 1. The up man takes the knee after receiving it. Ron Dickerson Jr. Overall, his team has made good when they've had the ball. And we mentioned those 2 quick touchdowns to start the game. And then the punt just once tonight. And the last possession, 6 plays, 54 yards, resulting in another score. But if you give a first quarter ball to a player, it's got to be Israel Nwokocha, because he has just been absolutely disruptive on defense and in special teams.
Winning his battles and getting it done. Let me player hate for a little bit right now, Tiff. I'm a player hate. Benedict has 25 points on the board, right? Now, I'm going to say 2 of those touchdowns were more luck. At that last play when there was a great individual effort by Trey, the quarterback, he's been sacked a couple times. He's been able to get away with that. So I would be concerned if I'm Benedict. Okay, can we put together a nice drive and move the ball down the field without having to rely on our quarterback making 3 guys miss? Because he's not going to be able to do it every time. And you have to figure that Edward Waters is going to continue to blitz and try and get to the quarterback.
Well, blitzing here, but got it away. Wide open was Darrell Lloyd, and Lloyd across the 40-yard line for Edward Waters. That's a gain of 18 yards. Again, just the spreading of the wealth from Trey Simmons, hitting a number of different receivers in this first quarter alone. Hillman, Jones, Williams, Lloyd, Foster, Carter. Israel Rhodes in the backfield. And down the middle, and taking a shot in the process was Tyreek Carter, along with Dartrell Roll. And so both are kind of slow to get up. Tyreek Carter is on a knee.
That's a football play. I mean, there was nothing dirty about that. You rarely see hard hits like that. They come rarely, but a guy running up the seam, safety's got a beat on it. He's coming over, trying to secure it. Boom. And
Carter on the sideline trying to shake it off. He's getting tended to by the trainer after this hit from Dartrell Roll.
2nd and 10.
Rhodes ran into a few Tigers along Edward Waters' defensive line. Jonathan Nesbitt among them. And it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Get the stop here. Edward Waters needs to get this stop in. They've been bringing pressure on the quarterback in these situations. If they do blitz him, it comes down to will they be able to tackle him.
So under a minute to go in the opening quarter here from Columbia. You see the pressure coming, and a flag flies out before the play gets off. It's going to be a false start against Benedict.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And that was interesting. The pressure was going to get there again, and we've seen the change that Edward Waters is making. So they had Jonathan Nesbitt, who plays cornerback. They move him to the middle,
for more speed, saying he can catch Simmons if Simmons decides to escape. They're making the adjustments, bringing in the corners. You see, look at number 23 right there in the hash. He's a cornerback. They're lining him up. They're not bringing him there for run support. But watch this. He's coming. They want him to go catch a quarterback.
That was a low throw, complete to Troy Hillman. Certainly not enough. And it's going to bring up 4th down.
I hate to say it, but I kind of gave you a warning. They're finding ways to get to the quarterback and to make him a little bit uncomfortable there in the pocket. And Simmons is going to have to figure it out how they're blitzing him and how to attack the blitz.
That's going to be the last play of the opening quarter here from Charles Johnson Stadium on the campus of Benedict College. The Tigers, the 2-time defending SIAC champions, came out hot in this first quarter. Big scoring first quarter, 25-13 in favor of Benedict. Looking out in full as we let you know about Benedict College. It was founded in 1870. Dr. Rosalind Clark Artis has done a phenomenal job since taking over and leading this institution. Roughly 2,000 students, and one of great pride really on both sides, as that was an excellent punt and goes into the end zone, so it's going to be a touchback. But going back to the profile, Leroy T. Walker, one of the notable alums that we want to make sure that we mention, first African-American in Olympic history to coach the U.S. Olympic team.
School me. This is your list here.
He was the president, so he was integral in helping to bring the Summer Games of '96 to his native Atlanta. And then Roscoe Wilson Jr., part of the Hall of Fame. He was a hooper. You may have heard of Asia Wilson, greatest women's basketball hooper of today, right? I mean, she has just been otherworldly. Olympic gold medalist, 2-time defending WNBA world champion. Her father played hoops here, and he was a bad man as a center.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Asia,
for the Tigers.
We know best player in the world. She played right down the street.
That's right.
Did you go see the statue?
I didn't stop by this time.
She got a statue.
She has a statue. That is so special, the bronze statue. And after she helped bring South Carolina their first national championship in program history, and Coach Dawn Staley is now a 3-time champion after winning last year. But Asia Wilson, incredibly special. 13-yard pickup from Ravion Moore. When you look at Moore and Makai Lovett for Edward Waters, similarly built.
Tough to bring down.
Tough to bring down for sure.
Yeah, built like running backs with speed. They play tight end and wide receiver, so very dangerous after they make the catch. Do some damage in the secondary.
111 before that throw from Keith Moore, but more importantly, Ravion Moore, the intended target, who hauls it in again. 7 for 7 you saw on that graphic. 7 passes, 7 completions, or 7 attempts, 7 completions for Keith Moore the second.
This game can get interesting. I mean, look at the quick decision. See, that's the difference. When a guy is passing, somebody's throwing. Throwing is more reactive. Passing is when you're anticipating, you're seeing what the defense is doing, and you attack the weakness of the defense. And we've seen Keith Moore do a pretty good job of passing the football.
One of the things that the OC mentioned is the fact that, hey, this is a veteran guy who knows this offense. And Brady Tillman, with really no room to go, nowhere to run, and great defensive stop that was made. That was Cameron Davis who came up to greet him.
It's tough. I just think one of the things that was going to stand out for me was the left tackle for Edward Waters, Dylan Lamb. Really good one, but he weighs 240 pounds. And when we talked to the Benedict defensive coordinator, Shea Campbell, he said, I'm going to take my chances attacking those smaller tackles, and I think that's shown up because Benedict has controlled the line of scrimmage.
Lamb, can you mention an all-conference lineman? 2 for 2 on third downs tonight. Can they convert again? And yes, thanks to John Terrius Thomas, That's going to be good enough to move the chains for another first down. So Edward Waters having success on third down conversions. They're trying to move some tempo and get up to the line quickly. And the handoff, that's Greg Mango. Mango is a hard-nosed runner. They say he's a guy who only knows north and south. Picks up maybe a yard or two.
There's nothing there, but what I'm seeing is the skill position guys for Edward Waters, they may be the best guys on the field. I mean, the running backs are great by committee. We've seen the wide receivers and the tight end. It's just that offensive line. So even when we see running backs picking up yardage, I mean, they're fighting for their lives to scrap for every yard.
Tough running yards ahead for Mango once again. Maybe inched out a yard there. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 7.
Brian Jenkins, offensive coordinator for Edward Waters. He's been around the block a few times, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. And he had great success when he was the head coach at Bethune-Cookman, running off multiple MEAC championships. Also saw him at Alabama State and A&M as well. Play action, feeling the pressure, moves out of the pocket, looking down the field, has a man, and Johnny Jones can't haul it in. It's Moore's first incompletion of the night, and it brings up 4th down.
I'm going to tell you, that last play, this Elway was sweet. I want to see the drop back. We used to always practice that. Johnny Jones trying to catch the ball, its highest point just missed, but that spin move out the backside, I mean, he made that look effortless. You get to the top, you drop, you feel the defensive end on you, and then you spin out the back door. That's what created all the time and separation that he needed. Unfortunately, it was just a sweet spin move.
Before the punt, timeout taken by Benedict.
Benedict, first timeout and a half.
All 11s, or all ones rather, on the clock here. Second quarter, first punt for Edward Waters coming up tonight after the break.
At Papa John's, we start with better. Like our fresh...
Presented by McDonald's is brought to you by Frank's Red Hot. It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat.
Carolina. Jay, let's hit you up for your D2 HBCU power rankings.
Well, I think everybody knows Virginia Union's got a powerhouse squad. They're good when they're Clark didn't land on the surprise, but let's explain that tie they had. They were playing in a football game. It was 28-28 in halftime. The game was suspended, so they ended up getting that tie on their record. Good things happening down in Charlotte for Johnson C. Smith. Virginia State trending in the right direction. And you know, Miles, I'm going to give you some warning shade down there. You got a good football team. Don't fault you for getting beat by Alabama State. A pretty good team.
Moore taking a shot down the field, and flags fly out as Devin Thompson had Trey Caver with them step for step, and it's a pass interference call expected. As Keith Moore saw something that he liked.
Pass interference. Defense, number 17. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
This is recognizing. One-on-one covers on the outside. I'm going to take the chance. Ball thrown in time and rhythm. That's a hold. Pass interference, look at that. Got all the jersey. You got to know as a defensive back, just in general, they're calling it tight tonight. Tonight, they're calling it tight. So you've got to take some of the hand play and hand fighting out of it.
Thomas trying to sneak by and find some room to run. He's brought down on the outside by Jala. Pick up a 3.
Brought down by Gio Jala and Markel Davis.
Gio Jala, starting quarterback, moved to strong safety, which is more of his natural position here on 2nd and 7.
2nd and 7.
Edward Waters, offensive unit, looking to the sideline to get the call. It comes in. Moore hands it off once more to Thomas with a little bit more room near that first down marker. Gio Jala again in on the stop.
Good job by the double team by the two tight ends. Falk and Moore really sealing the edge. See number 10 and number 0, they seal the edge. And that's how you make up for not having big offensive tackles. Just kind of send two tight ends over there, get the number count.
Now 3rd and short.
This won't be easy because they don't have the ability to just run the ball downhill at Benedict.
It's Brady Tillman's in the backfield. Remember, it was Tillman who fumbled the ball on the opening possession for Edward Waters. He gets the call, finds some space to come back, and up the seam, it's Brady Tillman. Well, they said, hey, look, when you watch Brady Tillman, you know that this true freshman is a big play guy. 33 yards, moves the chains inside the red zone now for Edward Waters. So threatening to score on this possession. The handoff once more, it's Brady Tillman. And he's taken down by Andre Jocelyn. But let's go back to that last run from Tillman.
I mean, they've got guys that are there, but they weren't able to make the tackles. And I've said it earlier, the skill position for Edward Waters is showing. They've got great runners. They can make you miss. You give them some daylight, they're going to make them pay. That's a good job of running by the freshman.
Coming over from Louisiana Monroe. Let's see if they can make good in Edward Waters' first trip to the red zone. Moore escapes again, that spin move once more, tries to put the juke on and into the end zone.
You go.
Keith Moore the second is showing off his quickness, so agile. And one thing they said they loved about him, he finds a way to win, and now his team within a score.
Look at the patience. He feels it, hits him with the spin move, decides right away, quick decision, I'm going for the end zone. Right there. I mean, he practiced that. That's something that you practice, escaping out the backside of the pocket.
And let's talk about the way that we have seen the composure of this Edward Waters team, right? Coming out the gate, immediately down 14-0. Didn't take long for Benedict to put their foot on the gas. And here the extra point is no good. Flags come out at the end. So it's going to remain a 6-point ball game. For now. And that's Cooper Baddix, the kicker who's being helped off by his teammates.
The extra point was no good. Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Half the distance to the goal. Re-kick.
We're going to take another look at it here as Baddix puts it up, and then you saw number 31 in your screen run into him. That was Miles White, his second penalty of the night on special teams. And Coach Toriano Morgan wants to spend a timeout, his first of the half. He's got 2 remaining.
Timeout. Edward Waters. Timeout of the half.
Less than 5 minutes to go in this one, and Toriano Morgan's going to talk it over with his Tigers. Come back with us to find out what they do. There's another opportunity after their 6-play, 67-yard drive, all on the ground, and after Cooper Baddix was injured on the play. I'm going to bring out Irv Friedman. So he will attempt the extra point. And it is good. A one-score ball game here from Columbia. Well, next week we'll have 2 Monday Night Football matchups. Trevor Lawrence leads the Jaguars against Josh Allen and the Bills at a special start time of 7:15 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Then the Commanders take on the Bengals. Joe Burrow and company looking to bounce back after back-to-back losses against the Patriots and the Chiefs. That one will be at 8 Eastern on ABC. A couple of 2 LSU Heisman. Check out 49ers fan in the crowd.
I don't expect that. You just can't go buy that shirt.
No, yeah, NFL alumni.
Alumni, so.
Partner, do you have a shirt?
You gotta pay your dues and get it.
The question is, have you paid your dues? Okay.
I have the shirt.
Okay. Well, Baddock's back into the ball game well enough to kick off here.
Kick away from him. Do not kick this deep. Do a little pooch kick. Smart.
Leaves it short. While we have this opportunity, let's take a look at tonight's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Lexus. And even though trailing in this ball game, it's been a great night thus far for Keith Moore. 7 of 8 through the air, 116 yards and 2 touchdowns, including that last rushing touchdown to bring them within a score.
He's been the offense. I mean, in one half of football, already responsible for 3 touchdowns. He's reading the defense well. They're down, but it's not because of his play. Keith Moore may be a reason why they're able to come back in this game, possibly pull off an upset.
Well, you've seen him be composed and poised in the pocket. You mentioned his John Elway-esque spin moves to keep the play alive. And now let's see what the Edward Waters defense can do here. Under 5 minutes to go from Charles Johnson Stadium on the campus of Benedict College, located on 2 Notch Road. 1st and 10, and Trey Simmons keeps it in a gain of about 5 yards on that scamper.
Although Simmons is not necessarily seeing the defense, the one thing that you cannot deny is he can run. He's a dangerous runner. He's not just a good runner, he's a dangerous runner with his speed and the balance that he shows.
He started off the ball game throwing the ball pretty well through the air, and since then has gone cold. Etienne Durant, another running back for Benedict, and that's good enough for a first down. That's a gain of 13 as he's brought down by Jonathan Nesbitt.
Yeah, what a great job by Jordan Taylor, the right tackle. Absolutely just washed down. Look at big number 75. Look at the wash. That's where you got the cutback lane. The tackles can wash the line of scrimmage down, and man down, referee down, man down. See that?
Yeah. Etienne Durant out of McCormick, South Carolina. It's Durant once again trying to get to the outside, goes across the field, and long run after Garcon tackles him after a pickup of 3.
This drive here is going to mean a lot. It'll be telling. If you're Benedict, you obviously want to go into the half up, but by how much? And for Edward Waters, you got to kind of slow it down. Your offense is finding some rhythm. Don't allow a team to drive down the field on you. I like the job that they're doing offensively for Benedict, using the running game. That way you're getting the clock and you're not letting your quarterback have to run around and scramble.
Again, bouncing out. Grant was brought down quickly. Good tackle there made by Dartrell Roll. role. The senior out of Miami. We saw him make an impact earlier in this game. So now 3rd and 6, you're Brian, or rather you're Stan Clayton, the offensive coordinator for Benedict. What do you call here?
Bro, passing situation right here. I think you go for it, but you hope that you can find something where you and the quarterback can be on the same page and anticipate the defense. Guy going across the formation, it's obvious man-to-man coverage. Man-to-man coverage means they're probably going to blitz you and bring some pressure. Why not shore up the offensive protection and see if the quarterback can find a matchup he likes?
The pressure indeed from Stephon French. There's this one heaved up in the air. One-on-one coverage on the outside. And Malachi Jones, who has been a guy he's looked for all night tonight. No flag. Good coverage. And it's going to be 4th down. That brings us to the new 2-minute timeout in college football. And we will step aside here. A 25-20 ball game in favor of Benedict College.
Looking
down. Indeed, a risky call from Ron Dickerson Jr. In their own territory. It's Simmons looking back to pass. He's got pressure from roll, and it's complete into the hands of Troy Hellman, but there is a flag, and this one is likely coming back after that hold. As you mentioned, that would wipe out a 21-yard reception.
Holding. Offense number 21. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 4th down.
So they're going to try and do maximum protection and have the running back pick up the blitzer because you know it's coming. And you see the running back there, linebacker's coming, takes him to the ground, holds him, keeps him there. That's one of those plays, unnecessary, because that was not a hard pursuit. That was a blitz like, let's keep the quarterback in the pocket so he cannot run for yards, and got caught with his hands in the cookie jar. Costly penalty for the Benedict Tigers.
15 penalties in total tonight in this first half. 8 from Benedict for 72 yards. They punted away, and remember, Edwin Waters now with minute 38 to go, 2 timeouts, and just as I'm trying to get a sentence out, another flag flies.
It is flag day. Oh my goodness. And they're calling it tight. A couple of them I would have called questionable, but you have to make the adjustment for your player.
This SIAC officiating crew has been busy tonight.
Running to the kicker. Receiving team, number 28. 5-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
Jay, just so you know, Flag Day is in June, not September.
No, it's not.
Buddy.
It is in September. Yeah, took a poor angle, and that's a penalty. I mean, the official's job is there to call roughing the kicker or running into the kicker, and he ran into it. Those are the type of plays that can hurt your team. Yet another penalty.
If folks are just tuning in, Jay, I'd like to know how you would describe this first half.
Sloppy. sloppy. Some excitement as well. There have been some very exciting plays, some of the plays you don't see rarely in football. And just inconsistent. Never won the drive chart, just like that. They came out with a fumble, sloppy. Then they showed great drive with a touchdown. Then they gave up the safety. Then they responded, got a TD. Then they got a punt and a TD. So they've been very inconsistent. I think Benedict has started playing at their level as well, at the Edwin Waters level. I have no idea what is going on now. They are going to re-kick this. So when they accepted the penalty for running to the kicker, it brings back to 4th down. I would have declined the penalty because it was a great punt.
Well, we've seen some great punts tonight from Lucas Wynn. He stays consistent, but this time an opportunity for Johnny Jones to return it, but he's got to get upfield, and he's brought down just at about the 14 or 15-yard line. So Lucas Wynn, who has done his job, he has been a weapon tonight in special teams for Benedict.
That kind of wears the towel on the back like another SIAC legendary punter, Marquette King.
Look at you, dropping some knowledge.
I pay attention to special teams every now and then.
Yeah, you know, sometimes offensive guys don't always have a lot of love for special teams.
Just make the
feel
kick.
like it's overlooked.
Yeah, just make the kick. You don't care about them until you need them. In this instance here, I don't necessarily think that we'll see Edward Waters get too aggressive with their play selection here. If you can maybe spring something quickly, you go into 2-minute offense. Otherwise, you have to be very content going into halftime down by just 5.
Brady Tillman
And
with the carry.
Indeed,
and break tackles in the process, just finding what other lane to sliver through. 11-yard carry. Fresh set. The chains move. The clock stops temporarily and then starts up again. So can they get a play in on time? Remember, they also have 2 timeouts to work with. Give themselves a little breathing room, but taking some time here. Moore loves that left side, and after that run of about 5 or 6, Casey Bolton brought him down. They're going to spend one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
Timeout. Edward Waters, the second timeout of the half.
Well, Jay, you talked about some SIAC legends already. Marquette King. Let's check out Jay's Give Me 5 this week.
It's Jay's Give Me 5. Right? 5 SIAC legends you got to know about. Look at that list there. A lot of Fort Valley State, I know that, but it's undeniable. Greg Lloyd, Rayfield Wright, Tyrone Poole, and Eddie Anderson. Defensive players that got it done. Rayfield Wright, offensive lineman, of course, and then Shannon Sharp. Who would have thought Shannon Sharp would become 3rd on this list? And then on the bubble, I'm not going to let you talk about me. I see you had a great career representing the T, the U, SKE, the GEE, Tuskegee, Drayton, Florence. So some other names could have put on there, but that's Jay's Give Me 5.
Okay, Jay, it's an impressive list. Let me give you Tiff's 2 cents here.
Okay.
Right? R.I.P. Jacoby Jones, who went to Lane College, and then Hampton Smith. Give it up for the basketball coach who did his thing at Albany State, a long-time football coach there at Albany State, who helped the Rams win a few SIAC championships.
I left you one there. I thought you would have taken Cleve Abbott.
I was going to say Cleve Abbott. Yeah, Cleve Abbott. There are many.
Look at this.
As this one, a big gain opportunity and more out of the timeout. And that's Fatima Polk. And Polk, the tight end, who's kind of that new age hybrid type of tight end.
Clock. Don't worry about the down. So you should be clocking the ball. As soon as they snap it, you should be clocking the ball. Don't let the clock continue to run. The clock is your enemy, not the downs.
Devin Thompson, who is dragged down by a couple of jerseys. And looking at this clock management, it's, again, going to temporarily move the chains, and they're going to spend a timeout here.
Don't do that. That's what I'm saying. I don't like to question coaches like that, but once you get the big play, you say, clock it. Now, he's telling the receiver he should have got out of bounds, but that receiver made an in cut and picked up a first down. So the first down is going to pause the clock for a little bit, and then you get up there and you spike it. And now they don't have any timeouts. The defense knows that. They're thinking tackle them inbounds. Don't let them get to the outside portion of it. So questionable decision making there a little bit. The last 2-minute drive of this half. But Edward Waters. But are you seeing the skill set starting to show? They're making guys miss all the time. They're hard to bring down. They're starting to play like that Florida football team. For those guys in Florida, you get a ball in their hands, they can run it. They can run it.
Well, they knew coming in that they had speed as an advantage. And as that's the case for a lot of Florida teams, feeling confident just about the type of team speed that they have on the field. From what you've seen from Keith Moore, what has he been effective with tonight in the passing game?
A decision maker where he attacks the defense.
Good decision there. Man open once more. It's Devin Thompson, and this time he follows his coach's orders and gets out of bounds wisely along the sideline.
Of course.
Flag out.
Of course. See a good play, then you see a penalty. Then you see another good play, and then you see a penalty.
A lot of conversation going on back and forth, and we will find out.
Illegal touching. Offense number 4. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Also lost a down. Second down.
Huge penalty here. Toriana Morgan can't believe it, but let's take another look at it here. There's Thompson right there. Didn't see it necessarily in that replay. So 2nd and 15, ball on the Benedict 30-yard line. 16 seconds remaining in the half. Edward Waters will get the ball to start the third quarter. Moore patiently waiting. This pass complete. Johnny Jones still on his feet.
Holding.
But it's going to come back. That's going to erase a 15-yard penalty. And Jay, it's hard for any team to get into a rhythm or flow or tempo when every time there's a good play or a big play, it's erased.
Holding. Offense number 55. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains second down.
10th penalty of the night on Edward Waters.
I mean, have you ever heard the cliche, you know, we're not going to, if we see the replay or not the game, I don't care what I saw. You can call holding on every play. You really can. There's a hold somewhere on every play. Do you call on every play? If it's blatant, you call it, but scramble drills like this, trying to get out, he's going down. I mean, guy get a bull rush on him. You pull him there a little bit, okay. Did the D lineman, did he think he was held? Probably not, but it's just, it's been a tough half, and that took away a very big play. That would have put them in field goal range.
Indeed, instead, it backs him up 1 yard, 1 second left, and brought down by Marcellus Livingston. The sack, first one of the night for Benedict College, as they will trot into the locker room with a 25-20 lead over Edward Waters. A very disjointed first 2 quarters here from Columbia, South Carolina, the 2-time defending SIAC champions on top. But Edward Waters trying to inch their way closer into this one. We saw a little bit of everything in that first half. Now let's send it over to the studio. After break, we'll hear from the crew, the All-State Halftime Report.
Look.
Third quarter just about underway, but first, let's give you a little preview of what we've seen so far in this first half. The marching band of distinction on the field for Benedict College. Hey, the Tigers from Benedict up 25-20 over Edward Waters. He's Jay Walker. I'm Tiffany Green, and if you're just tuning in, you've got the 2-time defending SIAC champion, right? And they're holding on to that 5-point lead, but when you would characterize that first half, how would Jay Walker spin that?
little things. If you're Benedict, I mean, you've got the lead, but you have to be disappointed. You should be up by double digits in this game. Edward Waters, however, didn't come in here ready to play, but they fought to get themselves back into it. If you eliminate the penalties and all the sloppy play, let's see who the best football team is. I do think this is going to be a very exciting second half because these teams are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, 18 penalties in that first half compared to 14 total possession for both teams. As we look back at the first half highlights, boy, it got started quickly and 14 unanswered points put up by Benedict College.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the big plays that were really a part of this first half there. Edward Waters showing you they can match them as well as they come up with their own run after catch for the touchdown there. So the athleticism had been on display for these teams here. In between the penalties, you would see stuff. Great individual effort by Benedict defensive lineman to come up with the safety, and then a fantastic play by the quarterback, Trey Simmons, making guys miss, gets to the outside, and finds another wide receiver in the secondary.
Well, it was, whether it was Ravion or whomever was coming up with plays, and then special teams was certainly special. We saw that safety and then the blocked kick return for a touchdown. That was 4 points that's hanging out there.
Yeah, they left them on the board, but the good thing for Edward Waters is their quarterback play has been pretty good. I mean, quarterback play in this game has been really good, but Keith Moore has made it look easy at times, completing the ball 90% of his passes right there, where we saw Trey Simmons get off to a good start, but he cooled off quickly. He's got to find the rhythm if his team's going to hold on for a victory.
When you think about what Keith Moore has done, they like him as a leader. He's been in this program. He knows this system, and he has the opportunity now after that first half of 9 completions, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. We get to see him to start the second half as well. So this is always the fun time because you get to see what coaches saw, right, in terms of the adjustments that they're going to make here in the second half. One of the weapons that we didn't have the opportunity to mention was number 19 in purple and gold for Benedict College. That's Lucas Wynn, who's set to kick it off. He has also got the punting duties as well, and he's done an excellent job here tonight. On the return, there's Johnny Jones, the All-American, and he's out past the 25-yard line. And that's where we'll see the Tigers of Benedict. Both have been on the prowl tonight, but on this drive, an opportunity for Keith Moore to put his group ahead, potentially, if they can punch it into the end zone. You think about just what they've done this season, and here tonight, 275 yards. You compare that to where they were last year against Benedict. A big 180 for sure, but certainly outpacing themselves offensively here tonight. And no surprise, Jay, as we start this third quarter with yet another penalty.
And you figure somebody's got to get it right sooner or later. And I want to see, I'm going to call it out there, we'll put it there. The best coaches make the adjustments at halftime. Which coach can go out there and get his team just to cut down on the penalties and the sloppy play will show me who's got the true pulse of the team. Defining moment there for Ron Dickerson here, coaching, trying to get his first victory as the head coach at Benedict. He's got a lead, but we saw some chinks in the armor. So they're going to judge him by how well does this team come out and perform in the second half, because they should be up by double digits. They're not.
Ron Dickerson Jr., who is taking over for
kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be added to the run. First down.
Drew Ford, I got you. You're doing your job, Drew, but I don't need to see Drew anymore. Right? I just, I want to see the players. I want to see the players.
Well, let's go back and remind you of who Ron Dickerson Jr. is. First of all, taking over for Chinnis Berry, who is now at South Carolina State, who replaces the legendary Buddy Pugh. Ron Dickerson Jr., this is his first season at the helm of a program, and he takes over a very successful one. Back-to-back SIAC champions, D2 HBCU national champions, and Dickerson, who comes over from the University of West Florida, and that Dickerson name well known among the HBCU ranks. His father, Ron Dickerson Sr., was the former head coach at Alabama State.
Father was one of the first African-American D1 or FBS head coaches at the time as well.
Was at Temple, Gregory Mango on the carry. And a quick pickup of 3 yards.
You know who's been kind of quiet, whose name we really hasn't called as much? A little surprising. Aaron Miller. You know, you get these type of games and smaller defensive line, and when we talked to their defensive coordinator, they really thought that we could unleash Miller on this offensive line for Edward Waters and have some success, and that just has not been the case yet.
Aaron Miller, you're referencing number 15 in purple. They are running away from him as Greg Mango goes along that strong side. Once again, there's Aaron Miller, the preseason All-American, who is on the watch list for Deacon Jones, best player in HBCU football. He's got an incredible motor and opportunity to do great things. And as we mentioned, a lot of guys who didn't return, he did come back for this Benedict team. Now 3rd and 3, we'll see if Miller and this defense can come up with a stop for the opening drive of the second half and get Edward Waters off the field. Play action, go to the right side. That's Ravion Moore. Moore, who's already scored a touchdown tonight. Pickup of 9. And the throwback tight end will move the chains.
Nice execution. Another great job by Keith Moore II. Recognizing the defense, knowing he didn't have long to get rid of the football, throwing him open, and allowing the tight end to pick up the first down.
This Edward Waters crew out of Jacksonville, Florida, the oldest HBCU in the Sunshine State.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a private institution, founded in 1866. Here, Moore again, some patience, wisely slides down, but picks up positive yardage there on first down. It's going to bring up 2nd and 6.
Edward Waters founded when?
1866.
66. When was your school founded?
If you're referencing Florida A&M University, founded in 1887.
Oh, okay. I knew you would know the answers when your school was founded.
I think most people know when their school is founded. Some things are just drilled into you, right?
Now this is that time where the running game can help out the quarterback. We know the quarterback can do it, but see if they can find a crease to run.
Speaking of, they keep the ball on the ground. That's Greg Mango once again. When you talk about the success that Edward Waters had on the ground, picked up 116 yards on 20 carries the first 2 quarters. Toriano Morgan in his 4th season as the head coach of Edward Waters. When you think about what he did last year, 6-4. Now this group trying to pick up their 2nd win of the season. They've not been able to knock down this giant of Benedict in past attempts. Here on 3rd and 4, it's Brady Tillman who's in the backfield. Love it in motion. We're looking, and the pass gets complete to Devin Thompson, and Thompson moves the change as he's slung out of bounds by Andre Jocelyn.
Wow, and good protection up front by Edward Waters. I was watching that one-on-one matchup between Aaron Miller and Dylan Lampkin. They go at it there, and we've seen time and time again the athleticism on the perimeter favors Edward Waters. Those guys are really hard to bring down. Give him credit, guys up front protecting Keith Moore II.
Well, he's just made really good decisions. He's shown his quickness, really good leadership as well. I feel very confident in this junior out of Miami. Pass on 1st and 10, and it's into the hands of Polk.
What do you do when you've got a light defensive
a defensive lineman going against a light tackle, I'm just going to try and bull rush you all the way back into your quarterback. And that's all you can ask Lampkin to do, though. If you're able to hold your ground, don't let him throw you into the quarterback, just sit there and fight. They knew that Lampkin was going to have some fight. I'm starting to see Aaron Miller get frustrated. He's the leader. He needs to make a big-time play for this defense.
The pitch out to Brady Tillman, and Tillman, who's brought down by Nwokocha, the defensive end, who made some excellent plays in that first half. Just short of the first down is Brian Jenkins Jr., the offensive coordinator. We're going to take a measure of this one in that last spot to see if he indeed did pick up the first down or not. But let's go back to Toriano Morgan. We mentioned last year that 6-4 record was 5-3 in the SIAC. Led them to their first winning season in nearly 2 decades, and he's helped to rebuild this program. Remember, there was a span of time that Edward Waters did not have football. 35-year hiatus, came back in the 2000s, and now the original SIAC conference teams. It's a fully Division II program now. It's good enough for a first down, and so Edward Waters moving the football. It's Tillman who goes right up the gut. There's Aaron Miller who got there in on the tackle.
That's just to keep him honest right there. I think trying to set him up and run the ball downhill, knowing that you're probably going to run into a wall, pick up a couple yards, but what do you look at there? Sliding down the line of scrimmage. And those are where the tough runs are. It's just Edward Waters can get their running backs in space, or their wide receivers in space. That's where the challenge is.
And Miller has a man, and Lovett just tried to turn his body around. The opportunity was there, but the incompletion, just 2 incompletions on the night for Moore, and you know they wish they had that one back.
Had to throw the ball early because of the pressure, but I just like how he doesn't flinch. He knows he's going to get hit, but he's still holding on to the ball as long as he can, and just missed on the big play right there.
Get a touchdown in their only trip in the red zone tonight. Just outside of it here, trying to get into it on this 3rd down, able to do so. Complete to Johnny Jones, their go-to guy, Mr. Consistency. And a pickup of 12 brings up 1st and goal.
Decision making by Keith Moore continues to showcase itself. I mean, the ball snap, he knows where he's going with the ball within the first 2 seconds. And that's when the game is slowing down for you as a quarterback. Right now, he is picking apart this defense. Bishop.
5'10" junior is having success tonight, being a signal caller for the Tigers. Before the play gets off, a timeout taken by Benedict. We'll take that timeout with them, as well as 1st and goal coming up for Edward Waters when we return.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
Tigers out of Jacksonville trying to punch it in the end zone. They've yet to have the lead tonight. An opportunity here on this drive as that one on the run from John Sirius Thomas, and Edward Waters, just as I spoke of it, now has the first lead, their first lead of the night.
You saw the athleticism just showing up more and more, the ability to get their speed, to make guys miss. Who would have thought that Benedict would give up a lead this early in the second half? But once again, the balance has been on display from all the runners for Edward Waters all evening. Coach Morgan finally gets a chance to coach with a lead, prepares to go for 2.
Chance to make it 28-25 in the way that they have been in sync coming out of the locker room. Put a player in motion, play action, got him on that right side. That's Johnny Jones, his All-American, dialed up perfectly.
They did that schematically. I like that they did it schematically. Take a look at it, but it was the bunch formation that they knew they were going to get man-to-man coverage. And in doing so, once you start winning the chess match, then you can make it look easy. Edward Waters, the Tigers from Duval, have made it to Columbia, South Carolina.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5?
Damian Moat Jr. gets the carry up the middle, and he's wrestled down by Tyrese Williams.
Same thing we talked about, coaching, making the changes at halftime. What are the adjustments going to be? Well, now, if you're Coach Dickerson, it's your turn. You have to show what you're going to do. Your quarterback struggled bad coming out of the first half. What do you do to get him going back on track? What adjustments are you going to make? I believe the adjustments are going to be a little bit more lenient on the running game. Allow them to run the ball if the bigger team can help out the quarterback by getting those rushing yards.
Running back, they're really high on Jalen Leary. We thought we'd see more of him. The pass complete on the outside to Malik Mullins. One thing that Trey Simmons has done well is distribute the ball to a number of different receivers. We saw him target several guys in that wide receiver unit in the first half. But also keep this in mind, the fact that a number of guys transferred out. Some followed Coach Barry over to South Carolina State, the previous head coach, and others just decided to not return. And so this is a pretty, or virtually, new team under a new head coach, Ron Dickerson Jr. And they've been together less than 60 days. So they're still learning themselves and figuring things out about themselves in the process here. Critical 3rd and 1 for Benedict. The carry tripped up is Damian Moat, and I think he's going to be short of that first down marker. Again, there was Tyrese Williams, a long, athletic defensive end.
Anytime you go shotgun with a team that is using linebackers and speed to just shoot gaps, that's all they're doing is shooting gaps. They're not holding you up strong. They're shooting the gap, so I thought it may be tough for them to pick up that first down. Now it's 4th and 1.
And this is a decision where Ron Dickerson Jr. is going to go for a reminder that the play clock is not functioning here in the stadium, so it's being kept on the field. You see Simmons moving quickly, 4th and 1. Moat finds a little crease, gets going, and good yardage and more as he takes a pile with him up to about the 50-yard line. So the 4th and 1 turns into a 16-yard gain and an extension of this drive for Benedict.
And when you've got guys that are stunting gaps, and it leaves you vulnerable to find the crease. Good job of taking advantage. Continue to see. I think you'll see more of a heavy dose of the running game. Anytime there's a pass called, I think the passes will be those of the quick passing game, the 3-step drop, the pre-snap read. I don't know how much pure drop-back passing we'll see. Unless it's the 3rd and long situation.
They continue to hand it off to the true freshman out of Tifton, Georgia. It's Damian Moat Jr. wrapped up for maybe about a yard. But when we talked with Stan Clayton, the offensive coordinator, you know, this was a guy that they lit up about. Had some success at Tift County High School. Rushed for more than 1,800 yards and 14 touchdowns last season. He now moves to the college ranks, and they say he's a guy who just always finds a way to get positive yards.
Big time recruit. Big type of recruit you can find at office to go to FCS schools. But go to Benedict, they think his future is bright.
That brings up 2nd and 9. Simmons rolling to his right has Troy Hillman. And it's incomplete to Hillman.
See the chess match there. We haven't seen Simmons drop back once yet. It's all been quick. Get rid of the football. On that last one, they moved the pocket. Because of the pressure Edward Waters likes to bring, and they haven't quite figured out consistently where they're bringing pressure from. It's forcing the Benedict Tigers to change their passing attack.
They've not had success on third down much tonight. 1 of 6. They've got to get to the 40-yard line to keep the chains moving. Looking, and it's intercepted right into the hands of Stephon French, and French along that sideline, and is tripped up and brought down by Malik Mullins. But the INT into the hands of Stephon French, his 3rd of the season.
They baited him, so he thought he was getting man-to-man, thought he was going to get pressure, and it was a zone blitz. And all French had to do was drop curl to flat.
Looking for a reason to try a new $5 meal deal at McDonald's?
Quarter, 1st and 10 for Edward Waters with a 3-point advantage over the 2-time defending SIAC champion Benedict Tigers. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green back here with you. Inside the red zone, Jaden Wilson in motion. The handoff, that's John Terry as Thomas, and Thomas is spun around and brought down. Gain of about 1 on the play.
For all that we've talked about, Edward Waters coming out to a good start in the second half, and they managed to gain the lead. If you're Benedict coming in the 4th quarter, you're at home, you're supposed to win the 4th quarter, and it starts for them right now. They need to stop desperately. Hold Edward Waters to a field goal attempt. Because if Edward Waters manages to put this ball in the end zone, now you're down by 2 possessions, and time is not on your side.
Well, Israel Nwokocha, who had a monster first half, defensive end, trots off the field after an injury for Benedict. Solomon Riggins will take his place on the field. We'll see how that impacts the defense. Again, Thomas patiently waiting. Brought down from behind. A short gain on the play as Azir Austin Daniels makes the tackle.
Force Keith Moore II to leave his comfort zone. If you're Edward Waters right now, you force him. He's been picking you apart from the pocket, very efficient. I don't care what type of shift they do. I'm bringing one more than you can block. I'm coming after the quarterback.
It looks like Markel Davis, linebacker, coming down. Potentially showing blitz. Instead, he drops back in coverage. 8 of 9 on 3rd downs, make it 8 of 10 there as the pass is incomplete. So 4th down.
They got lucky. See what I'm talking about? Recognize if you got lucky. The wide receiver was open. He just missed on that throw. They decided to only rush 4 and drop back in zone. That's one of the few times that we've seen Moore just miss on a throw.
Well, they're going to keep Moore on the field with this offense on 4th and 6. Do you take the points here, or do you like the decision to go for it?
I would take the points. You always want to increase your lead, but they're seeing things. They must have a look that they know they anticipate getting. And they have the trust and faith in their quarterback more that he's not going to miss 2 consecutive passes. Could not believe why they're not bringing pressure right now.
Jones in motion, 6 of 8 on 4th downs this season for Edward Waters. Moore, the pass, it's incomplete. And the wide receiver, Makai Lovett, still down on the field, was grabbing the lower part of the leg as he is slow to get up. So a turnover on downs there, and if you're Benedict, you're breathing a sigh of relief because they netted no points. And you mentioned, Jay, how important that drive was.
Absolutely, and they did better than the stop. We thought it would be a win if they were just to hold them to a field goal attempt. Instead, they said, no, we'll do one better than that. How about we'll stop them on downs and give the ball back to our offense.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal and
Welcome back here.
Welcome back. and since you've been gone, we just had another penalty throw.
Since you've been gone.
Another penalty to start off the drive. Let me guess, holding again. Looks like hands to the face.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 17. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So that aids the Benedict drive here. Their first of the fourth quarter. Ron Dickerson Jr.'s debut as head coach of the defending D2 HBCU national champions. This group, virtually new squad. A lot of turnover on the roster. Now Ron Dickerson Jr. with an opportunity to implement his vision for this program. Running back Jalen Leary left of Simmons in the backfield. Simmons keeps it the entire way, lunges out, crossed the 40-yard line, brought down at the 41 by Whitmire Garcon.
As a coordinator, you live with that. You know, if Simmons is not seeing the defense as clearly as you think he should, you just make it simple for him. Anytime you see four linemen and they're not blitzing you with the fifth or sixth guys, drop back. If the first read's not there, take off and run. Just pick up positive yards. That was good recognition by Simmons.
2nd and 2, and the handoff. Keeping his balance, staying on his feet is Jalen Leary. And Leary is going to get enough for the first down to Moore Jean-Baptiste. Brought him down. Well, Leary is a guy who came over from Stetson. We mentioned he was the Hatters' all-time leading rusher. Thought we would see more of him earlier in this ball game. It's been a combination of 4 different backs: Durant, Israel Rhodes, along with Damian Moat, along with Jalen Leary.
See, that seventh guy's getting close to the box. They're trying to confuse him, letting them know. And that's the problem that you've got. So when Edward Waters says, okay, now we're going to creep these safeties closer to the line of scrimmage, make you start thinking about what we're doing. Well, having 7 guys close to the line of scrimmage is great against the run. It's supposed to leave you vulnerable against the pass. But when your quarterback is not reading blitz, then it confuses him. But the key with this is read your safety. See that? They got those 7 guys close to the line of scrimmage, giving them the threat that we can come get you.
Simmons ducks the pressure for just a second, and he's wrapped up and brought down. That's number 95, Tyler Fan. It's a loss of 1 on the play.
See there, just the 4-man rush. When you elect to take off too much, if 4 guys can make you leave the pocket, normally you win as a defensive coordinator. That's not been their typical recipe for success this evening.
First sack of the night. Fan along with Cardi Joseph tag team for that. Now 3rd and 9.
Now sit back, play zone. You have to be able to pick apart this zone right now.
That one just short hopped into Mullins, and it's 4th down.
Wow. College football quarterback, you have to be able to make that throw. I mean, that was a curl route. You throw curl routes all day. You can almost throw them with your eyes closed. But Simmons being a little bit off, not seeing things quite as well. An accurate throw. Forces a punt.
Just so much momentum and steam coming out to begin this game, and since then things have slowed down as Lucas Wynn able to get it off in time. Johnny Jones will watch it bounce out of bounds.
Looking for a reason to try?
By McDonald's. And in part by Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Back here in the capital city of South Carolina, 3-point ball game as Edward Waters has the edge. However, Ron Dickerson Jr., who spent his second timeout of the half, wanted to talk things over here on 4th and 4. They're going to elect to go for the field goal as Benedict looking to tie up this ball game. Lucas Wynn, who has been really good in the kicking game along with his punting duties, missed a 50-yard attempt earlier tonight. This one 10 yards closer. Xavion Foster, the holder. Down and off the mark. Pulls it left, no good. And Benedict comes up empty on that possession. How deflating is that?
Gotta be. You know, think about it, the offense has kind of hit four flat tires since the first quarter. You have the opportunity to tie the game up at home and try to get your first win on the season. Missed opportunity.
So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking or download the ESPN app. 1st and 10, 2:40 remaining. Greg Bango on the carry. Pick up a couple. And if you're Benedict, you have to think you've got the 2-minute timeout that's going to stop the clock. And you have 1 remaining timeout after that.
Go back to when we started this game. What was like one of the key storylines? Could Edward Waters overcome the puzzle, the riddle that has been Benedict? You're 2 minutes away from it. You're up by 3. The question will be, can the Tigers, Edward Waters, get the job done?
The 2-minute timeout on the field. We will take a break here as well. Come back with us to Columbia.
The Fun 99 menu, always $1.99 each.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere to fix that? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a reach.
Player now, that's Marcellus Livingston. I'll say this, Jay, it was a methodical pursuit from Edward Waters to get back in this ball game. I mean, they were trailing at one point by 3 scores, right? 23-9. And then slowly but surely they inched their way back into this ball game and took the lead after a blistering start to this ball game. I mean, we saw 38 points put up in the first quarter alone. Then things started to kind of settle down and taper off. In that third quarter, there was only one score at the time. But Benedict, who has just gone cold since that first quarter, they haven't scored since. And you look at the reason why, partially because of Keith Moore and the consistency that we have seen from him tonight.
Responsible for 3 touchdowns because he ran for 1 as well, but he really did pick apart this Benedict defense. And I think, you know, coming in, it was only his second start. Is he going to prove that he's the guy that can be the offensive leader? I think he passed with flying colors against a team that they have not beaten forever, it seems like. And I think, you know, to be honest, Edward Waters came in here, they looked terrible. They played terrible, but what does that say about your football team when you're able to go walk down an opponent on the road at their place slowly but surely and Keith Moore the second deserves a lot of the credit for them being able to be in a position to win this game.
The athletic training staff still giving attention to Marcellus Livingston. We'll take this opportunity to tell you that Saturday's featured college football games on ESPN Plus. We mentioned the Iowa State Cyclones hosting Arkansas State. At the same time, it's Virginia at Coastal Carolina, and then the Arch Manning #1 ranked Texas Longhorns. They're going to be led by the nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning. The Longhorns will rely on Arch as Quinn Ewers is still recovering from an abdominal injury.
Are we doing that? Are we doing that? We're comparing the QB between Ewers and Manning now? That's like a good account. They can make the numbers look any way you want them to.
For sure.
So, right there looks like, oh my God, Arch Manning is by far the best quarterback. Hey, not so fast.
Hey, well, Quinn Ewers look good, and so has that Texas Longhorn offense. I mean, they've been averaging like 46 points per game. They beat Michigan, start the season, a couple of 50 pieces put up against teams back here on the field. As you would expect, Edward Waters keeping the ball on the ground, brought down by Omari Terry. So no timeouts remaining for Benedict College.
And it's like with no game clock in the stadium, the officials have kind of gotten a little easy in terms of when they wind the clock. You don't see them winding the clock to signal to anybody. So now you can almost look at the game clock scoreboard and just guess. Probably get away with taking about 4 or 5 extra seconds. That being said, you get this first down on this play, football game's over. No, sir.
Here, the hold. You saw the rush there, but the amount of time, again, it's being kept on the field, and now the game clock stopping for the time being, and it, as the helmet came off of one of the Edward Waters players.
Why are they stopping the game clock? Man. There wasn't a timeout call.
I think
Benedict has declined the zap 10. The 10-second runoff.
And some confusion here as the clock should still be winding down. I'll say this, Jay. This is a Edward Waters program that continues to remain on the rise. You think back to last season, they were able to knock off Albany State, one of the big-time contenders, former SIAC champions. They've been able to beat Tuskegee, and is that we've had those marquee victories in the probationary period of moving up to Division II, now fully Division II. Is that we want Benedict.
It's fourth down. Why isn't punt team out there? It's fourth down. Why isn't punt team out there? Or clock running because the officials are talking about something. The helmet coming off is not a penalty. In a game which I've seen everything. I mean, this is kind of big. Like, when are you saying that the play clock should start? If the game clock is saying 45 seconds, you have to tell them. Was there a timeout call? When I saw the game clock start, I said,
there was no
call timeout.
Benedict had no timeouts.
No, I thought Edward Waters might have called.
Oh, okay.
It was Morgan, I thought. And say that. They called timeout, but
in this instance, why would Morgan spend a timeout. The clock should be running. There was a helmet. The player ran off the field.
You call a timeout, and then you call a timeout with like 3 seconds. Get ready to punch the ball, then you strategize.
Well, this certainly is a favorable pause for Benedict, who had the chance to kind of huddle up just for a second, as it's still 45 seconds remaining on the clock.
Nobody knows what's going on right now, because I guarantee you, if Benedict or if Edward Waters knew what was going on, they'd have their punt team on the field ready to take a snap or prepared to take a knee to run it out or whatever, let the clock wind. You got two sidelines that are like...
Frustration on both sidelines. Toriano Morgan 45 seconds away from getting potentially the biggest win of his coaching tenure at Edward Waters.
Wow. So then it's going to have life. They're going to have to get the ball back. Need some time.
And so we heard the referee try to explain it. It was declined.
Edward Waters. This is their first timeout of the half.
And now a timeout is taken, but there was a 10-second runoff that was declined. And so with that, there is an ability to start the clock at the snap if it's declined. Jay, this is a game that we have just seen a little bit of everything. We've seen a safety, a block punt return for 2 points. We've seen a kickoff return for a touchdown. We've seen 38 points scored in the first quarter. We've seen more than 24 penalties in this game. It has been all over the board.
You see games like this, but normally I see games like this on like Halloween. You know, crazy things seem to happen on Halloween, things of that nature. I mean, you know,
it's almost a full moon.
We're in September.
I mean it's a full moon.
At the end of the day, I say get it right. You know, and you don't pick sides here, but you hope what we just saw right there does not have an impact on this game. And they're still talking about it. That's why it's like almost like they've lost control of it. Neither coach is going to be happy with the way this game was officiated. Come pump block. Benedict, go after the kicker. Dial up pump block.
Well, this is been an interesting 2.5 minutes of game time as Jackson Williams on the return. So now down at the 20-yard line, their own 20-yard line. And Benedict has to move down the field into Edward Waters territory to at least get into kicking range. Now, again, we've seen Lucas Wynn attempt 2 field goals, missing both times, one from 50 yards out, one from 40 yards out if they wanted to attempt to tie the ball game. If you're Ron Dickerson Jr., what do you do with these 35 seconds?
Kind of lean on Stan Clayton and ask what you got, but you want to try and get the ball to some guys that made plays for you in this game. Malachi Jones is one of those guys that has proven that you give him the ball, he can get some big chunks on you. College football, 35 seconds is not the end of the world. You should be able to get 5-6 plays in and manage it right.
No timeouts to work with for Benedict. So they got to also use the sideline as well.
Got a lot of room to
Simmons
run.
has a ton of room, elects to throw it wisely. And the wide receiver falling out of bounds after the catch. That's Shatarius Williams.
A big play chunk yardage there. Almost wondered though if he'd have just stepped on the gas and ran up the middle of the field. Once you get a first down in college football, it's going to stop. So he could have spiked it. But nothing wrong with taking the completion on the very first play
of a hurry-up offense situation.
Now from their 39. Two-by-two set. The receivers. Simmons looking, again scrambling out the pocket and just throws it out of bounds. So 6 seconds eaten off the clock after that incompletion brings up second down.
You help yourself by making sure, don't settle for any of the short throws. Everything's thrown 10 yards or plus down the field deeper, so that way you're ensuring you're going to get a first down, and they can stop the clock right away, give you a chance to go up there and spike it, get off multiple plays.
And there's 47, Malachi Jones, you spoke of earlier. Jay, he's to the bottom of your screen. They're looking in his direction. Simmons staying on his feet. Underneath Jalen Leary, he's got to get out of bounds and is able to do so after the first down. Gain of 15. Simmons, who felt the thump from Tyrese Williams, is slow to get up, comes up limping in the process.
Come up with another play like that, you have an opportunity to go for a game-time field goal.
We're in Edward Waters territory. 12 seconds to work with. Simmons taking a shot. Malik Jones is there in traffic.
Oh my goodness. Get up there, you gotta spike it. They don't have any timeouts.
Seconds to go. They've got to spike it on first and goal. You said it, Jay. Fine 47 in purple. They spike it. A 39-yard reception from Malachi Jones. He set the speedster from Gainesville, the fastest on the team. We saw him make some critical plays there in the first half. Caught a touchdown already in this ball game, and here, this was a huge catch.
Give credit to the quarterback. He went to the hot hand. He was double covered, but that's what they say in this college football game. The 50-50 balls are difference makers. That was actually a 20-80 ball. He had about a 20% chance of coming away with that.
The clock hits 0, but there is still time left on the clock.
Now the field goal unit's not out there.
Interesting decision.
Please put 4 seconds back on the clock.
Jay, partially what may be factoring into Ron Dickerson Jr.'s decision-making is the fact that Benedict has not made a field goal at all this season.
I think that, but I think he was already dead. I think at a certain point he thought he lost this game. When you had 45 seconds left and they were going to run it out, you got second life.
Do you like this call here?
No. No, but I understand this call here. He was dead. I mean, he was dead. They were going to get the ball back with 4 seconds left on their own 5-yard line. We don't know what happened down there with the runoff rule, misinterpretation. Hey, why not? Why not?
We have seen everything, or just about everything in this game. It's been a sampling all over the board, so why not have a dramatic finish to this one, Jay?
I thought we saw it coming. We said, oh, this second half's going to be interesting. We could have never thought it was going to end up any way, shape, or form like this. But, I mean, on the drive, give credit to Trey Simmons. Started it off with the completion on first down, avoided the sack, able to get chunk yardage plays. And then we thought things were going to go downhill for him. Comes up with the huge completion to put his team with a chance to get their first victory of the season.
I mean, this is potentially the ball game right here, Jay. I mean, this would be a 26-yard field goal attempt. I mean, this is not too far off a PAT. Rolling the dice here. And Charles Simmons has the catch into the end zone. Guess who it is? Malachi Jones! Big Money Jones with the play of the game. And somehow, Benedict pulls it off as time expires.
Football Primetime presented by Twisted